Hello, we're going to do a short yoga practice on grounding. So grounding will help us feel a bit more stable and reduce those fluctuations of the mind. It's very good for when we feel a little bit stressed. So firstly, let's start by lying down. So make yourself feel comfortable. So you could have your knees bent or extended. And just take a few moments to start to feel a bit more grounded, so you can feel the ground underneath you. Just see if you can open up your body, let your body relax into the ground. So no need to use any muscular effort here, we can just start to let the body melt into the ground. Just take a few moments to notice any sensations in your body, anything physical or energetic. And just allow those sensations to flow freely. And just observing them without judging yourself, so like a kind observer. Bring your hands to your belly and just notice how you're breathing. Without changing your breath, just notice the inhale and the exhale. Feeling how the hands may rise as you inhale. And then release on the exhale. Good, and then we'll just start to bring a little bit of gentle movement. So just windshield wipering the legs. So the feet are a bit wider than hip width, and just let them rock one way. Nice and gently. And again, really connecting with that ground underneath you. So we're lucky we're in nature at the moment, but it's that sense of feeling a little bit more connected to the ground and a bit more in our body rather than our mind. So really start to get your mind into your body, noticing any tight areas and breathing into those sensations. So trying not to resist. Breathing a bit more deeply. Good, and then bringing the knees to center. We're just going to hug one knee in and then the other. Good. Inhaling and exhale to hug the knee in. See if you can make the breath a little bit deeper now. Excellent, and then planting those feet down. So really start to imagine your feet. So pressing the feet down, we're in a position ready for bridge. So the feet are lined up with the knees. And we're just going to let the lower back relax a bit. See if you can just start to press into your feet. So maybe coming up onto your heels and your toes. Really feel those feet working. Good, and then we're gently going to press through those feet and gently peel the hips up, coming up very slowly and then exhaling to release. Good, so check the knees are in line with the ankles, they're not splaying out. So just a few gentle bridges in your own time. Pressing through the feet, engaging the legs as that helps to peel the hips up. And then slowly bring them down. Good. Now coming into a figure four stretch, so crossing the right leg over the left, and just feel that hip opening. Breathe into that hip. If you want more of a stretch, you can clasp the back of the thigh, flex the feet. Slightly tuck in the chin, so we've got length in the neck. Breathe into that hip, see if you can relax as you feel that stretch. Lovely, and then changing sides, so crossing the left leg over, flex the foot. That may be enough of an opening in your hip. If not, clasp the back of the right thigh and just draw that in to you, flexing the feet. Breathe nice and deeply. Good, and then just release that leg. Maybe hugging one knee in and the other. Gently rocking from side to side. See if you can feel your back getting a nice massage. And the earth underneath you supporting you, so we're nice and grounded. Good, and then roll onto one side to help yourself up. And we'll come into any seated position that's comfortable. It may be cross-legged. Using a block is very useful to lift up those sitting bones. You could have your legs extended, or you could be in a chair. So just take a moment to really ground ourselves, grounding the hips, finding some length in the spine, relaxing the shoulders. Nice length in the spine. Let's just have our hands in prayer, relax the shoulders. Slightly bow the head and just take a few moments to breathe in an intention. So that could be something for your well-being. Just breathe that in. And then exhale, release. Good, so keep that intention in your mind. Good, and then we're just going to inhale, raising the arms up. And then exhale down. Good. Inhale, find some length in the spine, and then exhale down. We'll just come into a gentle side stretch, checking the hip doesn't ride on up, so keeping our hips grounded. Good. You can always keep a bend in the arm. Good, and let's just release the shoulders a bit. Just release any tension. Breathing, always remembering to breathe. That will really help to keep you grounded. So we're less in the mind, more in the body. Good, and then the other way. Good, and then lifting up nice and tall, just a gentle twist. So when we twist, we lift up, and we inhale, and we exhale to twist. You can always look down if that's more comfortable on your neck. Good, and change side, inhale up, and then exhale to twist. Good, and then we're going to remove the block and come onto our knees. So you might want some padding under your knees if your knees are sensitive. And we're just going to come into our tabletop. So everything's nice and stacked, shoulders over the wrists, hips over the knees. Draw in the belly, keep the neck nice and long. We're going to come into some nice slow cat-cows. So letting the buttocks lift as the belly drops, the chest rises, pushing through the hands, drawing in the belly, rounding the back. Good, so using that breath, inhaling as we come into our cow, and then exhaling one vertebrae at a time, coming into our cat. Good, so do a few in your own time, just inhaling and then exhaling to round, really noticing how your spine's feeling, noticing if you have any tight areas, taking a bit more time over them, and not rushing. So feel your feet are grounded, your hands, and your breath is nice and full. Nice, deep, gentle breathing. Good, and then we're just going to sit back into child pose. So you might want your knees wide. Just let the hips sink back. Let your forehead relax onto the mat, or use a pillow for your hands, or even a cushion. You could gently let the forehead get a massage by gently moving your head from side to side. Good. Breathing into the back, so getting a nice stretch. And then coming back to our tabletop. Let's just gently get some wrist action by a little bit of movement in the wrists. And then we're going to just rock forward and back. So it's almost like we're coming into a half plank, just getting a little bit more movement in the wrists, getting ready for downward dog. Good, and then come back to neutral. So we're going to press through the hands, tuck the toes. We're going to come into a bent knee downward dog. So pushing through the feet, hips up to the sky, legs can be bent. Find your downward dog. Stretching through the fingers, finding some length in the back, maybe releasing the neck a bit. Breathing nice and deeply. Anytime you want a break, come into downward dog. Come into child pose, I should say. Good. And then we're going to keep the knees bent and slowly walk our feet to the hands. Keeping the knees bent, and then keeping the knees bent, we're rounding up through the spine, one vertebrae at a time. Use your hands on your legs. And we're just going to come into Tadasana, our mountain pose. Good, so feet are nice and spread. So really get that connection with our feet, lifting up the toes, bringing them back down. So we're nice and tall, just like a mountain. Just take a few moments in prayer position. See if you can breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. So this type of breathing will send calmness to the body, especially when the postures are a little bit more challenging. Good, and let's just inhale up and then exhale down. We're going to come into a forward fold. So inhale up, exhale, we're going to bend the knees and come into a ragdoll. So you can always use a chair if you have any back sensitivities. Just let the head relax. Good. You can use your hands on your legs if you need more support. Inhale and then exhale any tension. Good, and then one vertebrae at a time, we're going to uncurl back through the spine. And then raise the arms up and back through prayer. Good. So we'll come into some grounding standing postures. Firstly, warrior two. So finding a comfortable wide stance. Get that connection with your feet. Turning one foot out 90 degrees, the back foot in. Hands on hips. Start to feel that engagement in your legs. And then we'll gently find our warrior two. So knee in line with the ankle. You may stay here, or you may be able to go lower. Hands can be here or out. Good, so from our strong grounded legs, you can look through that middle finger. That's our drishti. Think of that front arm as your future and your back arm as your past. But we're grounded, so our mind is centered. We're not going too far in the future, and we're not going into the past. We're fully present. Good. Just a few breaths, that Ujjayi breath. Then press through the feet, coming back up. Excellent. And now we'll change sides. So front leg out 90 degrees, back foot in. Press through the outer edge of that back foot. Find a good position for your knee in line with the ankle. You can keep your hands here or open. Good. Gazing through that middle finger back to our Ujjayi breath. And checking we're not leaning forward or back. So we're not going into the future, we're not going into the past, we're fully centered. Breathe. A good affirmation for being grounded is to say, I am grounded. I can feel my feet rooted to the ground. Breathe, and then press through those feet to come back up. Just release the hips. Good, and then we'll just relax those shoulders and just come into a grounding standing posture, tree. So we want to have a soft bend in the knee, spreading the feet. So just imagine you have roots coming out of your feet. So it's perfectly fine to stay here for tree. Just find a nice lift. Hands can be in prayer and we have something to focus on. If you want to challenge your balance, you can lift the leg here or up to the thigh. But find that focus, something to watch that's not moving. Still remembering to breathe nice and steadily, so we find that stillness in our balance, and any wobbles are fine. We still have that playful attitude, maybe raising the arms up into any tree shape you like. So we're rooted from our legs, and we still have that ability to lift ourselves up because we feel grounded. Good, and then bring that leg back down. Well done. We'll practice with this foot, so spreading the feet, soft bend in the knee. Still finding that lift, either placing the foot here, to the calf, or higher up. You may notice you have a better leg for balancing on, such as I do. Good. Find your tree. Hands can be in prayer. Find that focal point. Breathing in, balance. Maybe raising the arms up if you want a greater challenge. Getting some work on both buttocks here. Buttock muscle turns the leg out, and we work the glute medius on the side, this muscle to keep us stable. Good, and then release that down. Excellent. So now we're going to come back down to the mat, so we'll start this side. And we're just going to raise our arms up and come back into a forward fold, hinging from the hips, finding your forward fold. Whether you're using a chair, you can keep the legs as bent as you want. Then we're going to walk back into a plank. So we can be either a half plank or a full plank. So we're spreading the hands. So we're really grounded by our hands and our feet. Everything's engaged, the buttocks, the legs, one straight line. If we're in a half plank, we lower the knees. Good, so then lower the knees, and then just sit back into child pose. Have a rest here. Again, if you feel you may want to rock the head from side to side. Or stretch to the side, so you might want to stretch in the back by walking the hands one way and the other. Really start to breathe a bit more deeply, inhaling, then exhaling to release. Use that breath to help you. Good, and then we'll slowly come up and come into one seated forward fold. So we can use a block under the hips. So what that does is that helps us to hinge from the hips. What we want to always avoid is rounding the back. It's very important to hinge from the hips. So If you find it hard to keep the back straight, we can come into a huggy forward fold where we hug and keep our back nice and straight, and then maybe the legs start to inch down. So we can stay here, nice straight back. Or if we're more flexible, you may want to straighten the legs, maybe raising the arms up, and then start to hinge from the hips. Could use a pillow underneath you. What you want to avoid is rounding the back, flex the feet, ground the legs, and then just let the head and neck relax. Then see if you can find that breath where you increase the exhale. So when we inhale, and then we exhale for a little bit longer. And as you exhale for a bit longer, you may say, I release. So this can help you feel a little bit calmer when we breathe with the longer exhale. So the count may be inhaling for 4 and then exhaling for 5. And that exhale can help you relax the back. And then gravity may take over, where you start to sink a bit more into your body. And always use a pillow in between your legs and your body if your back is quite sensitive, or stay much higher up in the movement. Always protect the lower back. Good, and then slowly walk the hands up. We'll just come onto our back just for a few moments. So slowly coming down, hugging one knee in and the other. Give yourself a little massage, maybe circling the knees one way or the other. And then maybe palms down, just lifting one leg up and the other. Just give your feet and legs a bit of a rest. Very good for the circulation. Good, and you may want to just bend the knees, come into any type of happy baby, bring the sacrum back down. So you may have your hands on your calves, you may just have a bend in the knee, or you may be clasping the feet. So feeling like you're bringing that sacrum back down to the ground, opening the hips. Breathe into the hips. You may feel quite a deep stretch here. We have a lot of tension in our hips, big muscle groups. Good, and then slowly bring that down. Let's just let the legs windshield wipe all the way down to the bottom. And if you have time, we'll just have a few minutes relaxation. So either legs bent or extended, opening the palms up. Start to connect with the ground. And just let your breath be natural. Feel all the parts of the body that are making contact with the ground. So your head, your shoulders, your back is nice and broad, and your hips feel nice and heavy. Let your legs release any muscular effort. Breathe in some calm, and then release any tension back into the earth. See if you can soften your body, soften any hardness. Allow the face to relax, especially the eyes. Just breathe in some stillness into your body. maybe repeating, I am grounded. Good, and then gently wiggle your toes, your hands, stretch out, yawn, anything you feel like doing. Feel free to stay in relaxation pose as much as possible. That is a grounding posture. If not, just rock to one side, just take a few breaths in a fetal position, no rush. Breathe in. Good, and then use your hands to help you up, keeping your eyes closed. Find any comfortable seated position. Get back to being grounded with the hips, hands in prayer, reminding yourself of that intention you made, and then bowing to yourself for your practice. Well done, thank you, and namaste.